what's now to be done? You have planned your audit very well. The next thing is to you need to call the branch and do the branch profiling. What is the branch profiling? It's a simple work paper. You can search on Google about how to do the branch profiling. It's basically taking onboarding a client. What you do is you try to write up the basic details, like who is the manager, branch manager, whether there was any change in branch manager, what is your phone number so I can contact you handily, how many employees on payroll, how many temporary employees, how many advances, how profit, what is total asset, whether fixed asset maintained at branch, fixed asset register maintained at branch or at HO, etc. There is a lot of questions you can ask for risk assessment. This is basically done for risk assessment, preliminary risk assessment. What you are trying to do is understand the entity and its environment and identify risk of material misstatements. And that is how you do first the branch profiling. What you do is understand what are the key particulars of the branch, what is the business of the branch. That is more important. If the branch is SME special, if the branch is your agriculture branch, mostly agriculture credits, if the branch is a corporate branch, if the branch has more deposits on their side, etc. Anything could be like that. This helps you to assess the nature, timing and extent of audit procedures that need to be applied. And this calls for you to comply with SA 315, SA 300 and 330. This is all what you are complying with. Okay. And what are the audit procedures for risk assessment? So risk assessment procedure, RAP, is done through 4 means. First is inquire. What you're doing is inquiring. The second is inspection. The third is observation. The fourth is analytical procedures. These are the 4 ways of conducting your risk assessment. First, to inquire. What are you inquiring? The number, value and type of advances, how many advances were restructured, whether there are any non-fund-based activities, how many NPAs are at the branch, what is the level of deposits being maintained, name and contact of branch officials. You can use a branch profile work paper for this. What you need to do is read a few master circulars. I will attach this later. There is certain like 20-30 circulars that you need to know, which are often referred, but to my knowledge, what I can recall as of now, the first and foremost what you should read is the IRAC norms. IRAC norms, what you should read is interest on advances. What you should read is your MSME. You should read your gold loan, jewel loan, housing loan, and a few relating to fraud, EWS system, that is your early warning signals, RFA. These are a few master circulars in direction that you need to read. Alright. The next step is to send an inquiry letter. This is totally different from your engagement letter. The engagement letter sets the terms of the audit. The inquiry letter is more like your requirement sheet. Okay. What do I need to conduct my audit? So this may include, like preliminary list of accounts, your previous year reports of, EDP audit, branch audit, internal inspections. It could be your trial balance. It could be classification of advances. It could be any reports. You can ask for anything at this point, because once the EL is signed, they have agreed to provide you any information that you may require for the for conducting a smooth audit, and you can ask for anything. These will include a requirement of records, reports, documents for audit. It should also state what is the date of commencement of audit, what is your tentative plan, basically when are you coming to visit. You should also specify reports to be required to be generated as on 31st March. So there could be special reports. It could be the exception report on 31st March. Some reports can only be exported for the day, and what you are going to sign off is our balance sheet on 31st March, as on the date you are certifying the financials for 31st March, and therefore you need those reports as on that date. So what you need to do is tell them beforehand this is to be done about 30th March is the right date, and we are very close. It's I guess 7/29, 29th is really close. Now the next thing is to make an OAR for the balance sheet and profit and loss. What is this method? What is an OAR? The OAR is a overall analytical review. What does it mean? What you're going to do is, let's say, what is the OAR? I should spend more time telling you about it. The first step is to, you have a balance sheet. So the balance sheet has assets, you have liability. Let's say you are doing assets. The assets may have advances, it may have other assets. You will have two sheets for this, and then what you will have is the lead. The lead means what are the ledgers underlying this classification. So there is like 10 ledgers which come under fixed asset. You should have their listing. So that is like the lead schedule method. You should create an OAR with your lead variances and lead schedules, so you can understand what is the movement between different accounts and what is it compared to the previous year in case of the profit and loss. And what you should do ideally is you should have a preliminary written representation letter. You should keep it handy. Why am I emphasizing this? This is very important, and you need to keep updating it during the audit process, because you may forget when you are making the MRL at the end what is to be taken as a representation. And we'll talk about MRLs later as well, but the whole idea is the MRL will not protect you, is not your sufficient appropriate audit evidence. I may make a different video on this someday, why MRLs are not SI or not enough is not SI. Okay, so that is something to be cautious about. You may take all your representations, you may take any representation, but it's never enough. Not enough. It's not enough. Okay. The next thing is there is checklist, so we can conclude this video as well. So when you are not going to the audit directly, the signing partner is not going with the team. Signing partner doesn't go with the team on the first few days of the audit. So what they have to carry is a letter of authority. You should have soft copies of the directions, FAQs. This is available on ICI website as well, along with the guidance note. You should have the closing instruction. You will ask this from the branch as well. Ask the branch to share you this so you can read it thoroughly, understand what kind of closing is the branch manager expected to do. You should have your appointment letter. You should have your inquiry letter which is sent to the bank. And what you should do is make a tracker. A tracker is just an Excel requirement sheet which is rotated on the email, so you can keep track of what was provided and what was not provided. Okay, and that is to be updated per requirement mail. Okay, and then there is an audit program, a checklist for sign off. That's totally up to you whether you want to do a checklist audit or whether you're going to go for a haphazard audit. That's up to you. You should create lead formats of balance sheet and P&L. You should have some utility reports from Finacle which are expected to be generated by the branch and sent it to you beforehand, so you can analyze. You should have your firm's rubber stamp, because you may be required to do some stamping, do some signing physically, but obviously a lot of banks would require you to go for a DSC method. That's better. A pen drive for retrieving data, and obviously a soft editable MRL. This is like your step number 3 in the basics.